with Christian when they first moved here from New York after he'd accepted the teaching job at the Birch Creek school. More than a little tension had been between them, and again, that was her fault. But their relationship was different now. She was different. "I've been busy helping Martha with the wedding." "Ah, weddings. I've been to my fair share of them over the years. Never a bride, though. Come to think of it, I haven't been a bridesmaid too often either."
"Does that bother you?"
"The bridesmaid stuff? Nay, I don't let things like that get to me."
"I mean, she didn't know Cevilla that well, and she wasn't sure if she should ask such a personal question, but Cevilla was exactly the right person to talk to about this."
"Mean what?"
"Does it bother you that you're single?" An odd look passed over Cevilla's face for a second, but then she shook her head.
"Absolutely not. Singleness has its advantages, you know. You're responsible for only yourself, and you don't have to ask someone else their opinion before you make a decision. I enjoy my privacy, and I was never too keen on little kinner. I like them after they grow up."
"Then you don't feel like you've missed out on anything?" Cevilla tilted her head and looked at her.
"The Lord is all I need. He always has been. So, nay, I don't feel like I've missed out on anything."
But Selah caught Cevilla's gaze shifting to Richard, her friend and neighbor, who was seated at a table with Martha's and Seth's parents, engaged in what looked like lively conversation. She knew even less about Richard, except that he and Cevilla were special friends. Selah wouldn't pry into Cevilla's business about that. She felt Cevilla's hand on hers, and then met the woman's gaze. Deep wrinkles etched her face, but her pale blue eyes were bright and clear.
"Life never goes like we plan. God usually has something better in store for us, even if we don't know we needed or wanted it."
She patted Selah's hand.
"Focus on that instead of regrets."
An unexpected lump formed in Selah's throat. Cevilla smiled, and then she hobbled toward Richard. She was right, of course. Her counselor back home in New York, Anne, had been drilling basically the same concept into Selah during their therapy sessions. Some days she believed it, other days she didn't. She brought the styrofoam cup to her lips. "Here's to conflicting emotions," she thought.
Whack!
Something had slammed into the side of her head, knocking her off balance. Hot chocolate splashed all over her hands and down the front of her navy blue coat. "Oh, nay!" She shook out her hand as Levi Stoll sprinted toward her. He pushed up his silver-rimmed glasses, his eyes filled with concern. "Are you okay?" he asked, peering at her.
"Ira doesn't know his own strength when it comes to hitting a volleyball."
"Sorry!" Ira waved at her from the other side of the net. "I'm all right." She held the cup out in front of her. Fortunately, her skin had been cold and the chocolate lukewarm, so she didn't get burned. Her head throbbed in the spot where the volleyball hit, though. "But I might have a bit of a headache later on." "I'll run and get some ice. That's okay." She didn't want him making a fuss and drawing attention to her. "My head's pretty hard." He chuckled a little, and then he said, "It won't take but a minute to get an ice pack." "I'm fine." She brushed at her coat, which wasn't too wet. He bent down and picked up the ball, tucking it under his arm. "Selah, right?" At her nod, he said, "I don't think we've formally met. I'm Levi Stoll." She'd seen him at church last Sunday, 2 days after she arrived from New York. Ruby had pointed out all the people who'd moved to Birch Creek while Selah was away. She'd seen quite a few new faces. His brow shot up. "I'm impressed you remembered." "I'm pretty good with names." She switched the cup to her other hand. "Here." Levi reached into his pocket and pulled out a handkerchief. As he handed it to her, he said, "Want to join in?" He tilted his head toward the volleyball net, where the players were now milling around. Oddly enough, she was suddenly tempted. Then her nerves got the best of her. Only a few people in Birch Creek knew about her past, and only 3 were privy to her diagnosis, clinical depression. The thought of that was enough to change her mind. She didn't want to put herself out there. "Not today. Maybe next time."